Today it is Saturday, which means it is Parkrun Day, and today we are heading off to Stratford-upon-Avon Parkrun. So Stratford-upon-Avon Parkrun is located in the Recreation Grounds in Stratford-upon-Avon, which is located in the West Midlands in the county of Warwickshire. It is a very nice course with sections alongside the River Avon, and it is a 3-lapper as well, mostly on hard-standing paths. However, there is a little section which is on grass, so I probably would recommend trail shoes only because of that little section on grass. However, road shoes should be fine for pretty much most of this, as it had been quite wet, but the grass section wasn't too boggy, which is quite good. However, in the summer months, it is definitely road shoes will be perfectly fine because it is literally one little section which is on grass, so you're not really going to slip over and get too muddy. In terms of how flat the course is, it's definitely got the potential for a PB as it is very flat. We'll have a look later on at the Stratford-upon-Avon record, and you will see there are some incredibly fast times which have been set on this course. But what is also good to know is that the parkrun is both dog friendly and it is buggy / pram friendly, which is great. And there are also toilets right close to the start of the parkrun, which I believe are in the pavilion. I didn't need the toilet on the day, so I don't actually know exactly where they're located, but I believe they are in the pavilion, which is literally right next to the start line. I also thought this was a really nice and scenic parkrun too, located fairly close to the centre of Stratford. It is just off to the south, and as you run alongside the River Avon as well, that is beautiful, and you can see the Shakespeare Theatre in the distance too, so we'll definitely go and check out Stratford-upon-Avon after you visit this parkrun. But before we do go any further, if you don't know what a parkrun is, it is essentially a 5k run which is ran by a group of volunteers who both time and marshal the event. At the end, you'll be given a finish token which will then be scanned alongside your own personal barcode, and then you'll be sent your official time and finish position later on. But now it is time to take a look at a summary of the course. So as I said before, you run it down towards the south, cross over the grass, head your way on hard standing over alongside the river, and then you come back through the car park. So it is a 3-lapper. As we said before, you can see it's very flat in that top left hand side with an elevation gain of approximately 0 meters and max elevation of 36 meters. So this is a quick one. So that is a summary of the course. Now let's take a look at it in a little bit more detail then. So you're going to start off here just south of the pavilion next to the tennis courts. Head your way south towards Rush Brook before turning off to the right hand side, and this is the only grass section of this course. So you're going to cross over the grass here onto the other hard side, which is hard standing again, and then you're going to follow Rush Brook all the way down until you hit the River Avon, where you're going to turn off to the right hand side and head your way north. So on the left hand side you'll see the Holy Trinity Church. You'll also pass at the Dell Open Air Theatre, and then finally you'll pass the Royal Shakespeare and Swan Theatre, which is absolutely stunning. So do make sure to look out to the left when you are running here. You're then going to turn off to the right hand side and head your way towards Swan Nest Hotel before turning right again at the Stratford-upon-Avon Boat Club. You're now going to head your way past the Embankment Bar, which is actually a very nice bar. I have been there before. Make your way up through the Stratford-upon-Avon Recreational Grounds car park. So they'll have coned off one side of the car park so no one can park there. So it's nice and straight, flat towards the finish line. This bit is also downhill slightly, which is what you like to hear. You're then going to turn off to the left hand side, make your way back to the Stratford-upon-Avon Pavilion, and then you're going to do that lap another 2 times before in the third lap you're going to end up in the grass section here. So you're just peeling off of the hard standing onto the grass to the finish line. So that is a simple 3-lap course, and there'll be marshals at all sections where you can go wrong, but it is really hard to go wrong as it is so simple. But now that we do know a little bit more about the course, let's take a look at Stratford-upon-Avon Parkrun's record. So the fastest male with an incredible time of 14 minutes and 29 seconds is Adam Fogg. Now that is probably the fastest record I think I've ever seen. I may need to stat check that with all my other videos, but that seems an incredibly fast time. The fastest female was Sophie Birtles with a time of 17:06. Again, really fast time. And then the average number of runners about 365, so it's quite a busy park run, as you'll see at the start in a moment, and an average time of 28:39, which again is quick. So this It's a very quick course and definitely has that potential for a PB. But those are some stats which have been set by some superhumans, and now let's take a look at some of my GoPro stats. So we've now done 57 park runs, 42 different locations as well, getting closer to that half cowl club. My best finish position was 4th, set at Zaloni Jar, and my fastest times range from 22:32 to 23:10 from Somerdale Pavilion all the way down to Riverfront. So if you want to knock Riverfront off the leaderboard this week, you're going to have to get a time quicker than 23:10. So we made our way to the start line. As you can see, it is very, very busy on that left-hand side, hence why we are on the grass. But you may be able to see as well in the distance the path. You can't really see it because everyone is stood on it currently. It was also very cold on the day, which is why you can see everyone wearing jumpers. It was spitting a little bit, but it didn't start any torrential rain, which is good. So I'm going to give the camera a quick wipe before we get going. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we are off, and Stratford-upon-Avon Parkrun begins. You can see a couple of people there with the prams, and now you can see on the left hand side where that hard standing path is, so you will be on that for the rest of the laps. Pretty quick start, to be honest, because we have come off to this right hand side on the grass. We have got the space to go at the pace that we want to. Stuck behind someone just right now, but we should be able to slip past them in just a second. We don't want to trip anyone up. It's only a park run. It is not a race, but here we go. Pretty good start. Come off pretty quickly on the grass, unfortunately, at the moment, but if you want to go on hard standing, you can stay on that left hand side. It wasn't too wet, so it was fine to stand on the grass. And you can see in the distance as well, everyone turning off to the right hand side, which is what we are about to do. So you need to make sure that you go around this point here so that you're not cheating. And then you are now on the grass. So there we go. This is the one grass section of the course. It does slow you down a little bit, I have to say. You probably do notice it on foot. However, it wasn't that squelchy, so you weren't filling your shoes up with mud, especially as I had my trail shoes on, so it felt perfectly fine. And then with the far side, we're about to turn off to the right hand side, and you'll be back on hard standing. So that is literally all of the grass for the course. So you've got to do that 3 times, and then that is it. And so we are about 500 meters in, running alongside the brook, which is on the left hand side behind the trees. And as you can see, it is all still hard standing. You are still a little bit congested here, so it has been a little fair bit of time, and you are still in the congested areas. I am going to use the grass here to perform an overtake here. You can see it's still dripping with rain. A little bit of rain did fall on the camera just then, but now we are alongside the River Avon, which you can see on the left. The Abbey's over there. Lots of people rowing on the day as well, and the Avon was very high, so I can imagine that if this one does have a lot of rainfall pre-week, that it may get flooded. I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe one of the locals can let us know down in the comments section below, but I can imagine that this can get flooded. I don't know whether they have a second winter course, which maybe it deals with that flood. But it is just a long straight now on the hard standing alongside the River Avon. It's quite stunning just running up this section, and maybe if I should go back on a slightly sunnier day, so then we got the lovely sun in the background as well rather than rainfall. So we are now 1 kilometre in. We did that at about a time of 4:39 from what Strava said. Make sure at this point to have a look over to your left hand side, as you'll see a couple of theatres. So there's one theatre, and then you'll also see the Shakespeare Theatre, which actually I think that might be the Shakespeare Theatre there on the left hand side. Got some people fishing there, rowers in the background. It is a beautiful, I don't know if it's a town, I think it's a town, Stratford-upon-Avon, so I definitely recommend going into the town straight after that. But we are running really well at the moment with a time of 4:39. Do remember that my fastest time since injury is over 24 minutes, so we are trying to get back down into the 23 minutes for this run. I was actually ill a few days after, hence why this one is late coming out, but hope you all enjoyed it anyway. And if you are, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe if you are new too. It does go a long way for the channel, and I do appreciate it very much. We try to get a different part run in every week. Might have to start going back to some of the park runs which we've done and try and beat the times. I think that'll be good fun as well. Do keep your eyes out for these bollards. Now, I've seen quite a few people comment actually in the on the 5k reviews that they saw people running into these bollards, so do be careful of those bollards. They have got a high-vis vest on them, but they are quite low, so do make sure to keep your eyes out for those if you are attending on the day. But we're now heading our way back towards the start. You'll see the car park in just a second, all hard standing, flat surface, and then that'll be lap 1 complete. And there we go, that is the car park section done. You will feel the slight decline as well as you speed up down that section, just trying to dodge the person there as we go around them, and then we're coming back onto that hard standing path. Those cones on the right hand side, do not follow them unless it is your final lap. So that is where the finish funnel is, you can see there in the background. The pavilion there on the left hand side is where the toilets are. They also had some cake there as well, which was very tasty, and the sign is on there as well to take your photos. Thank you very much to all the volunteers for cheering us on. And that is going to be lap 1 pretty much complete. Cute little doggo there on the left, don't remember them being there. But we're going to turn off to the right. I'm not sure if that's the Butterfly Gardens. I've been to a Butterfly Gardens before in Stratford. I'm not sure if that is what that big dome is on the left-hand side. Someone will have to let us know in the comments below. But there's also tennis courts over there somewhere too. So we're now heading our way back towards where we started. And you'll see the distance and people crossing off to the right in the grass section. So that is 2 kilometers complete. It is starting to rain a little bit more. You can probably see a little bits that are dripping onto the camera as well, but we're doing the windy section alongside the brook right now. That kilometer that we just did then was a time of 4:34, so 5 seconds quicker than that first kilometer, and we're doing well because if we keep up this pace, we could actually get underneath that 24 minute time, which will be crazy, and my fastest since injury for sure. So we just need to keep this up now as we go through the chicane and back towards the River Avon. And we are halfway through the park run, 2.5 kilometers down, and some loads of swans as well alongside. You can see them in the distance actually on the left hand side. There's loads of swans around, thankfully none of them on the course on the day, but maybe they might have issues with some swans sometimes crossing the path and everyone having to dodge them. I'm not sure, unless maybe they get chased off. Thank you there to the tail walkers as well. Went under some willow trees as well, which is stunning and what we like to see. Some more bollards here to watch out for. And then we're going to turn back off to this right hand side alongside the River Avon. You'll see the theatres again on the left. Watch out for another bollard. So the theme to this park run is watch out for the yellow bollards, but apart from that, really stunning one. And now that is 3 kilometers done. That one was done in a time of 4:34 as well. So another quick kilometer by us on the day. It felt really good running, I have to say. And I don't mind it sometimes when it is raining a little bit because it sort of cools you off, I find. So if it's too hot, then I find my mouth goes really dry, my throat, and it's harder to breathe. Whereas when it's cooler, it is quite nice to run in. Doing really well at the moment. Got some more podiums to watch out for, whatever they're called, and I don't forget what their name is, but I've got to watch out for those, make sure that we don't stack it. And now we're heading back towards the car park section. So the cones direct you around the right hand side onto this path. However, as you'll see in this next section, again watching out for all the posts here, you've got the choice of either running on the car park where they've coned it off so no one's actually parked there, or you've got the path on that right hand side. It probably would have been a good place to start it here because it is much wider, the path. Obviously you want it to finish at the pavilion, but doing quite well at the moment. If you want any more information on the elevation, I also have my Strava, which you can go and check out. It is in the description below of this YouTube video, but you'll notice in this one that the elevation is basically 37 on average, and it fluctuates from 37 down to about 35 and up to about 39. And that is 2 laps done, 1 lap to go. If we keep up at this pace, hopefully we can get under that 24-minute time, and that'll be my fastest since injury. Come on. And that is about the 4-kilometre mark, 4:46 that kilometre. So we have slowed off a little bit. Maybe I've gone off too quickly and I won't be able to get the pace under the 24-minute time, but we'll have to see. Give the GoPro a quick wipe, just make sure that there's no rain droplets sitting on the GoPro. The guy in front here, I'm sure he ran a longer distance as well. He sort of added extra sections in, so maybe he was doing like a longer run, but he was using the park run timers to get his time for a longer run. I'm not too sure. If he's watching, he'll have to let us know down in the comment section below, but because he was running really fast and he was going off to different sections. So just when we crossed at the grass bit, he did like a loop, so maybe he was running a further distance than the 5 kilometers, but wanting to use the timers, which is quite smart. So I have to say, maybe that's not a bad idea for in the future. If I want to try and get longer distance, just try and add extra distances at a local park run or something like that. So then I've actually got someone timing it, but I'm still doing the park run. So yeah, that's really, really interesting to see them doing that. But as we said before, that was my slowest kilometre. So now I've just got to speed it back up, hopefully, for this final kilometre and try and get under 24 minutes. And with about 200 metres to go, we've picked up the pace ever so slightly. We've had quite a few people overtake us, but maybe we can try and overtake them at the end. We will have to see. But this very gentle decline, I have to say, around here at the car park. Watching out for the puddles. Going towards the finish line right now. We're doing okay. We could get under the 24 minutes as well, which I'll be really happy about. And I think we will do, just looking at the time now. As we now cut off to this left-hand side. Again, watching out for these bollards here. So I heard all the stories of people stacking it at these bollards. Make sure you're not one of those. But here we go. You can see everyone's actually starting to sprint off towards the finish line. Maybe we can pick up the pace and get past all the others. We'll have to see. And here we go. Our final sprint finish. Trying to come off to this right-hand side. Looks like we might take over 1, 2, 3 people there. There's one more person to try and catch up with, but I don't think we're going to be able to get there. It's a nice sprint finish. It looks like we're going to beat 24, and yes, we do, with a time of 23 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm really pleased with that time, my fastest since injury, and then we get a position there of 72nd place as well. So really, really pleased with how this park run went today. Obviously a horrible day, rain is all everywhere, but now let's have a look at a summary. So that is Stratford-upon-Avon Parkrun complete, ticking off our 8th S on the Alphabet Ear Challenge, which is crazy, the fact that we've now done 8 S's. And also, if you have the 5k app, I have now completed 8 out of 10 of the Snakes Challenge 2, which is perfect. So although this one did not make it onto the leaderboard, I would say this definitely has the potential for a PB. It's one of my fastest runs, especially since injury, and we've now broken that 24-minute barrier again for the second time, which is what we like to hear, because I'm going to try and head my way now down the 23 seconds towards the maybe 23.5, to even maybe trying to break off that riverfront time off of my top 5 times ever, and then hopefully we'll start getting back into the 22 minutes like we did in Kingsway in Gloucester, because since the injury I have not been anywhere near the Kingsway, and it's actually been 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes behind that time. So it's good to feel like I am running back at my usual pace again. In terms of how busy the park run is, it is quite a busy start, and you will find for the first minute or so that you might be stuck behind people trying to overtake, and it does sort of bottleneck, especially at the corners. So in terms of how busy it is, you will lose a couple of seconds, and if you want to have a quicker time, maybe do what I did and stick off to that right hand side in the grass, so that you can set your pace off at the start, get around a few people as well before sliding onto the path and then hitting your normal pace alongside people around you. But despite the fact of the rainy weather, the dull looking skies, it was a really fun park run, and the atmosphere was great. Lots of people actually spectating as well, especially around the pavilion area, and obviously there was lots of people fishing, rowing, so the atmosphere was actually buzzing around Stratford-upon-Avon Parkrun, and I really enjoyed that. And also a massive thank you to all of the volunteers, because without them, these park runs do not go ahead. They did a really good job of organising it on the day and making sure that everyone kept off of the path, because at the finish funnel is literally right next to the path, and people are still running, obviously, and maybe their second, third lap, so you need to make sure that you do keep off that path once you have finished and you're not intercepting other people who are still continuing with their run. But as usual, we take a look at a few of the pinch points for each park run, which will slow you down. So pinch point numero uno is the busy start. That busy start does slow you down a little bit. It takes a couple of seconds off of your time, which is not ideal, but it's not that bad. So maybe that's just like a small little pinch point. Pinch point number 2 is the grass section. Really small grass section. It will take maybe 1-2 seconds off your time. So again, grass section does slow you down, but should be really putting these in lowercase because it doesn't slow you down too much. And then the third pinch point I'd probably say is the turn at the far end. So near the Stratford-upon-Avon Boating Club, we have to sort of do almost like a U-turn back onto the path next to the bar and then the parking. So that little U-turn does slow you down, and the fact that all the bollards are there as well is going to slow you down, especially if you're running through a bollard with someone else. You're going to have to let maybe them go in front, or you have to run a little bit faster to get in front of them. So that is going to be the pinch point number 3. But apart from that, they're very small pinch points because it is a really flat park run and a great one for a PB. But as usual, at the end of every park run, we go through a few tips and tricks on how to get there for people who are thinking of attending this event. Starting off with number 1, the public transport and the train station. So the closest train station to Stratford-upon-Avon Parkrun is the Stratford-upon-Avon station. Obviously, that is a 9-minute drive from there. You can get a bus. That takes about 20 minutes to get to the start, or it is a 24-minute walk from the station. So it is doable, especially compared to other park runs where it's like an hour, 2-hour walks from the station. So this one's slightly better in terms of that. And then in terms of the bus stops, the closest one is at McDonald's, which is actually on the main street called Bridge Street. And from there is about a 10-minute walk to the start line. So that is another good option if you do want to get there via public transport. And then finally, for those who are thinking of driving to the event, the parking, there is plenty of it, and it is all pretty much on site, so 1-2 minute walk away, and that is called the Recreational Grounds car park. Lots of spaces. It's paid for using the Ringo app as well, so do make sure to get that Ringo app. It is £1.30 for an hour or £2.60 for 2 hours, so nice and cheap. And then finally, the most important bit of the run is that post-park run coffee and cake, where everyone actually heads over to the Prospero's Lounge, which is located here, and it's about a 13-minute walk from the start line. Nice walk as well. You will pass the theatre, which will be on your left-hand side to get to cross the River Avon. So I definitely recommend going and checking that out. But as we always do, we will check out our after-run GoPro stats. So only things that are changing this week is the number of park runs and locations, which both increased by 1, up to 58 and 43. My finish position and my fastest times all stay the same, but since injury, that has been my fastest time, and we are heading our way ever so much closer back to these times which are on the leaderboard. But like I did say before, I definitely recommend visiting Stratford after the park run, as it has got lots of things to do in the centre of Stratford. You can go shopping, checking out the site. A lot of history to it as well, and there's a lot of Shakespeare stuff too to check out. But I do hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, do make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you are new. We get the park run videos out every week, and I appreciate all the support from everybody. But if you like me and really enjoy watching these sort of park run reviews, you can go and check out last week, which was in Cwmbran. Again, a really stunning park around the boating lake. Or you can go check out all my other park runs in the worldwide park run playlist. So I've actually already recorded the next park run, which is actually at Clevedon Salthouse Fields park run. As I was ill, this one is out a little bit later, but you will see that one out on Friday, so don't forget to go and check out that one. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.